Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's pray to Allah for giving us blessing and guidance so we can meet and gather in this blessed time. Salawat and salam may be given to our honor Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was bring us from the darkness to the brightness. And I don't forget to say thanks a lot to Mrs. Eva as as a lecturer of the academic speaking subject. And let me to introduce myself. My name is Rizky Octaviani, and I'm here to completing my final exam project by selecting one of the final academic paper on 2022 until 2024 in English education program in Ibn Khaldun University. And I've chosen one of that by Dinda Nuria Umami, entitled Student Self-Determination in Reading Comprehension Task, a case study at senior high school. And I'm going to share the screen first. Here is the background. Self-determination is an approach that can motivate students who are based on their own self-awareness of learning English and what triggers them in motivating themselves to be more developed. Then, reading comprehension is a process of reading that gives students a chance to more understand the structures of the text and meaning of the text, so that student can acquire the ideas of the text, identify information of the text, and conclude information of the text. Some of the factors causing from the lack of understanding of student reading, there are other important things that affect it all, namely student motivation in learning English. Um, According to Alizadeh, 2016, argue that motivation is a key factor for explaining the success or failure of any difficult activity. One of the solutions to the solve it student must realize the importance of self-determination in motivating themselves. And the next is research question. Uh, there are 2 points of that. The first is how are students' self-determination in doing reading comprehension tasks, and the second is what are the factors that influence students' self-determination in doing reading comprehension tasks. And we are moving to the purpose of the study. Here also have 2 points of that. The first is to know the student's self-determination in doing reading comprehension tasks. And then the next is to find out whether the factor of the student's self-determination can influence student understanding in doing reading comprehension tasks related to reading comprehension aspect. And we are moving to the literature review. There are 5 points of that. The first is self-determination, and three needs psychology, and then reading comprehension, and then aspect of the reading comprehension, and the last is reading comprehension task. And then we are moving to the methodology. In this research, researcher choose the qualitative approach with the case study design as the research design. And then the study was conducted at senior high school in Bogor, involved 22 students. And then for the data collection, the researchers choose the questionnaires and interviews. And then for data analysis, there are 3 steps. The first is data reduction, and then data display, and the last is conclusion or verification. And then we are moving to the findings. Here is student self-determination in doing reading comprehension tests. Students have the motivation and sense of interest in the learning English because they realize that English is important. Students have the sense of the responsibility for their reading comprehension when working on questions because students always read the text and understanding the question carefully. Students have an understanding to identify questions related to text and when working on tests. And then the next is factor that influence student self-determination in doing reading comprehension tests. Students have the sense of when wanting to learn and explore English further. Students have to hike a sense of the anticipation when working on tests to be able to achieve the goals and to get the best result from English fellows. Student have a high sense of interaction and have a sense of caring. And the next is discussion. Student self-determination in doing reading comprehension tests. Student self-determination in doing reading comprehension tasks can make students motivated and more interested in learning English. The reason is based on Ryan and Deci 2000 definition of self-determination related to human motivation and personality, which explained the importance of research in developing personality and behavioral self-regulation. The next is the factor that influence student self-determination in the doing reading comprehension test. There are several factors in that influence student self-determination in doing reading comprehension test, as explained by Julie et al. 2020. Um, State that self-determination is a key concept in psychology that refers to an individual's ability to make choice and manage his or her own life. Self-determined people feel that they have control over their choice, lives, and believe that what they do will affect the outcome of their action. We are moving to the last slide, that is conclusion. Most of the students have self-determination related to the three needs psychology, namely autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Students have self-determination and have intrinsic motivation in learning English, especially related to reading comprehension in understanding text. Then the factors that influence student self-determination in reading comprehension tests were willingness and self-awareness of students themselves without any other factors that affect student. I think uh, that's all for me. I'm so sorry for any mistake that I do in this session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.